It's time to expose all of the amazing people who have mastered speaking their audience's language. And it's not going to be who you think. So I have some folks, some of these are CEOs, some of these are major influencers and icons. And I'm going to go through three people today that I really like because I feel like these people really know how to connect with their audience. And the first up is my guy, Gary Vaynerchuk. So you may know who Gary Vaynerchuk is. Gary Vaynerchuk is known as Gary V, serial entrepreneur, best-selling author, CEO of VaynerMedia, built multi-million-dollar businesses, inspires millions, helps people with digital marketing, and he has a straightforward, no-nonsense approach. So we're gonna go through his and how he connects with his audience, and you can tell because these are the ways that I want you to be able to do this when you're speaking on stages, when you're speaking in your videos and your reels, when you're doing webinars. These are the things that's going to help us in terms of our coaching business to take it to the next level. All right, so I'll pause this as we go along and break down the insights.
There is not even a close second in activity that can grow your business to a proper organic social media execution. That means for this room, taking a step back and understanding how do I post a video and picture every single day on social media on all 5 to 7 major platforms to grow my business. And let me explain it in detail.
Now, let's just pause it right there. So you have to really understand your audience to know that what they're not posting on all platforms and to know that they're not posting every day. So that already is putting yourself in your audience's world, is understanding their language. So when you start using this messaging and you're telling people this, he knows that he's talking to people that aren't that productive on all platforms. He could be talking to another audience that posts every day. They got millions of followers. He would not have to say this messaging. So this is how you put yourself in your audience's world and talk their language. So pick these things up because this is how you know, oh, I'm actually connecting with my audience because I'm putting myself in their mindset.
How many people here do social media for their business? Raise your hand. How many people feel like it's the disproportionate reason your business is growing? Raise your hand. Great. So 80 to 90% of this room raised their hand when I said do it. 3 humans raised their hand when they said it was the driver.
Another thing, engaging with the audience, right? So one, engaging with the audience is definitely going to help get them into it and help them get engaged. On another level, he said a question that he felt like he already knew the answer to, but he asked the question anyway. He said, well, how many people, you know, here is basically feels like they need to improve social media in a summary of what he's saying, or how many here has already felt like they're crushing it and it's the disproportionate advantage to their business, right? So now what that does is in a scenario like this, now it even gives him a further ability to understand his audience. Why would he even ask that? Now you can't do that in all settings if you're doing a YouTube video or but maybe if you're doing a webinar or if you're on stage, then you can get real-time feedback of the audience. But this is something that you can still do even if you're doing a reel or even if you're doing a video. You're able to do this because your goal is to talk to your ideal audience. I was having a conversation with my clients recently, and I told them, I said, well, yeah, I know you have all different types of people that are following you online, but you have to realize your goal is not to talk to everybody. Your goal is to have conversations with the people who you're looking to attract, your ideal audience. So you need to talk about their problems. You need to go through what their goals are. You need to talk to the language in the way that they would say it. These are all things that's going to allow you to speak your audience's language so they're listening. Because if you're not talking their language, then they're not going to listen to you. They're not going to engage with you. They're going to tune out. So your goal is to speak to them. And he'll ask that question so he can really get a better understanding of who's in the audience. And then that is what he's going to center his talk around. Very key.
The opportunity is undeniable. The math supports it dramatically. The reason 3 humans raised their hand at it is they are good at it. That is a very small percentage. That is the punchline of why I came here today. What has happened in social over the last couple of years, 2 of the 15-year journey of social, is profoundly important to everyone here. I have been giving this talk in a variation because I so believed in this movement basically since 2007. That is 17 years of this. In the first 15 years of me giving this talk to these kind of events, it was more like email marketing. You had to amass as many followers as possible with your content. And then when you would post, a percentage of them would see it. I think that's going to make sense to everybody. I think everybody can agree that even if you're a very basic understanding of social marketing, the understanding of get followers and those people would see it, a percentage of them was the model. That is why, as time went on, and people in this room that are very behind on it, it would become daunting. If I sat here today and said,
Look at that. People in this room, some people are behind. He knows his audience. He knows everybody's not social media tech savvy. So, so he knows how to address that, making sure everybody has a basic level of understanding that you post and then a percentage of your followers see it. So he's mentioning things based on the level of the audience and of the room that he is in. And that's the whole point of it, is like you understand, when you understand your audience, then you're able to speak their language. If he's talking to tech geeks or people who's been, if he's talking to a room of people who got millions of followers, then this is a different conversation. And that's the whole point of speaking your audience's language. So that is very key. So these are the tips and the ideas that you want to be writing down, because this is what you can take away in terms of connecting with your audience, in terms of getting your messaging better, in terms of making sure that your audience pays attention to you and engages with you online. You have to be in their world. All right. So that is the first person. Second person is somebody that I've been following for a long time. This is an actor that I really love, and he tends to have a way of communicating very well with people, and this gentleman is Will Smith. Many of us know Will Smith, and so I don't think he really needs a big introduction, but just understand that, globally acclaimed actor, producer, Grammy winner, film, music, television, he's crushing it, and he's really great at storytelling, and he has a lot of charisma. All right, so let's go through how Will Smith connects.
How much does fear play into preventing us from grasping perspective, though?
Oh no, fear is everything. Yeah, like if there was one uh concept that I would um suggest to people to take a daily confrontation with, is fear. Um the the problem with fear is that it lies, right? So fear tells you, hey, if you say that to that girl, she's gonna know she has you, and she'll never really be attracted to you if she knows how much you attracted to her. Don't say that. No, how we get her is when she walks by, ignore her.
Right. Right. So Snoopy,
It's like,
pop it on your shoulder.
So what's important is, what is he saying? He's saying the self-talk. What are the things that you're saying to yourself? That means you would have to understand your audience. That means maybe you know them because you used to be your audience. Maybe you've helped a lot of people that are in your target audience. So you understand the self-talk that they say to themselves. That's important. You communicate that and people are going to connect with you.
tell you dumb shit like that, right? So for me, the daily confrontation with fear has become a real practice for me since about three years ago. I went skydiving in Dubai, right? And skydiving is a really interesting confront with fear, right? So I gotta stand up. I'm sorry, I gotta stand up. I gotta stand up. All right. So all your friends, what happens? You go out, sorry, dropped my thing. Yeah. So what happens is you go out the night before and you take a drink with your friends, and somebody says, yeah, we should go skydiving tomorrow. And you go, yeah, we'll go skydiving tomorrow. Yeah, yeah, and you go, yeah. And everybody goes, yeah, right? And you go home you by yourself, you're like,
Now look at that. He's talking about the experiences that they're having day to day. You're doing this, you're out with your friends, you're drinking, you high-fiving, yeah, we're gonna do this together. He's talking about real life scenarios, real life situations. The question is, how can you bring up a real life situation and scenario when you're having a conversation with your audience? when you're doing your videos, when you're doing your trainings, when you on stages, how can you talk about real life scenarios that they're going through day to day? Can they shake their head and say, yes, I understand because that's what I'm going through every day right now? Can your audience say that? If they can't say that, I'm a challenge you to do a little bit more homework to understand what your audience is going through day to day, because this is how you're going to connect with them. This is how your messaging is going to get better. A lot of great gems looking at people who do this well.
Right? You're like, well, I mean, they was drunk too, right? So maybe they not maybe I mean we don't have to go. We don't have to do it. So then that night you're laying in your bed and you just keep and you're terrified. You keep imagining over and over again jumping out of an airplane and you can't figure out why you would do that, right? And you're laying there and you have the worst night's sleep of your life, but you still have the hope that your friends were drunk, right? So you wake up the next day and you go, down and you said where you were going to meet and everybody's there. You're like, oh shit.
Look, this is so engaging, right? He's talking about, you're in your sleep, you're sweating, you wake up, you're breathing heavy, you thinking this. So here's another major gem with connecting with your audience is make it visual. Make it extremely visual. Make sure that they can see it, that they can taste it, that they can touch it. Use your five senses when you're describing what they're going through so you understand what they're going through. But then also you got to make them feel it. When you make them feel it, that's what gets them to say, I got to take some action. I got to do something about this. Yes, you understand what I'm going through. These are the ways that you connect with your audience more. These are the things that's going to make them feel like you get them and understand them. And when they feel like you understand them, then they're going to be more listening. They're going to be more willing to listen to you. 7 hot habits of highly effective people. Seek to understand, then to be understood. So when you understand them, that's going to be a key for them really listening to you.
All right, cool. Right. So you get in the van and you don't know that your friends had the same night that you had because they're pretending like they didn't. They're like, yeah, man, my uncle's a Navy SEAL, and this is gonna be great. I've been looking forward to this. And you're like, oh my God. And your stomach is terrible. You can't eat and everything, but you don't want to be the only punk who doesn't jump out of this.
Look at that. Oh, your stomach is hurting and you can't eat. Look at that. You see how he's explaining this? This is why he's a good storyteller. This is why people connect with him. He's saying things that they care about and that they're going through, and he's making it visual and so they feel it.
Airplane. So you get there, and then you have this safety brief. And you're standing there, and the guys will tell you, well, if the chute doesn't open, what's going to happen is you're doing, well, why the hell, what could happen? That the chute wouldn't open, right? So you do a thing, and what you do is your first jump, you're attached to a guy who is going, he's going to walk you out. So you go and you get.
So this is key. You can go back and watch it, but this is really key in terms of, just the way that he's explaining it. So these are the things that's going to help people really feel connected to you. Be visual when you're saying them. Understand them. Think about back to your experience. Think about what they were feeling. Think about what they're thinking about what they're doing, thinking about who they're around. Talk about it. Make it visual. Make them feel it. These are all things that's gonna put you in their world, and then that's what's gonna make that connection happen. So when you give a call to action, you tell them to go do something or make a recommendation, they're gonna be more likely to do it. All right. So if this third person right here is somebody that is very much loved and and I really love hearing her speak as well. And she does a lot of great things just in terms of the world and very inspirational. So this person is Michelle Obama, well, not necessarily this lady, but second is going to be Michelle Obama. And, most of us know Michelle Obama, former first lady of the United States, best-selling author, attorney, advocate. She's heavy in education, equality, health. And, she's just an inspirational leader and have global influence. So let's listen to how she connects with the audience and speaks their language.
Mrs. Obama, so many women struggle with self-doubt. Do you? And if you do, how do you push past it?
I talk about this all the time, especially with the young girls I meet, because they look at people like us in these positions and they think, well, you must have been born into that place. which is one of the reasons why when I meet with young girls, I don't care where in the world it is, I don't want them to know Michelle Obama, the former first lady. I want them to know Michelle Obama, that girl from the South Side of Chicago. I want to break down that wall of impossibility to let them know that I am them and they are me. And yes, every other moment I feel self-doubt, because when you and society intentionally does that to women and girls. It starts at a very early age. We question our value, our worth. We question how we look, how we talk, where we're from. Um, there are people with power who want us to stay small.
Look at that, right? What is she saying? She says, you know, one, she says, I want them to connect with not who I am, you know, not as the former first lady, but you know, as you know, the girl from the South Side of Chicago. That's important because she wants to connect with where they're at. That's important. You know, talking about we, not, you know, not you, but like, you know, what we go through and we this and we that. And, you know, she's making it inclusive and she's saying the things that they're currently going through. So she's talking to the girls. So listen to how she's talking to the girls. Now there's adults in this room, but she's talking to her idol audience. This is the same thing that you could do on video, on reels, on webinars when you speak. This is the same thing that you could do anytime you're speaking to your audience, even if it's other people that's not your audience. Your goal is to speak to your audience and speak their language and use the messaging that they would use and put yourself in their reality. Watch how she does this.
They want us to stay doubtful. And so our cultures reinforce that. So the one thing I want young girls to understand is that those feelings are real. They are not crazy. They are indoctrinated in us.
You see how people are feeling it, right? This is how you know. People are going to be in comments. People are going to be shaking their head. This is how people know. This is how you know that your audience is your messaging is landing with people.
And we carry them around with us our entire lives. And I don't care how far you go, whether you go to the White House, you are constantly batting away those negative messages of being not enough. And yes, I deal with that too. And I don't want young women, young girls to get ahead of themselves to think that they have to fix it all now. In order to break these cycles of negativity, you got to get up every day and do the work right before you. That means getting your education when the opportunity presents itself, and then focusing on that, doing the work, doing your homework, getting to the next stage in life. Because if you take those small steps over time, you build up a lifetime of another story for yourself. No one can do that for you. You have to look over your life. And we as women sometimes feel like we have to have done everything right before we can take credit for the things that we have done. But there is power in what we do every day. And I have to remind myself of that every single moment.
Look at that. Remind myself every single moment, every single day, like talking about the things that they're doing and what she needs to do in order to how she's able to get herself to the next level. And then she mentioned earlier, you know, get up, you know, go, you know, you got to go to school and you know, and so she's talking to her audience. You know, there's 40-year-old, 50-year-old women in the room. She ain't talking to go do their homework and go to school. She ain't talking to them about that, right? She's talking to her audience. So that is the big key when you're having a conversation, a discussion, or when you're speaking to your audience, you got to put yourself in their mindset. You got to put yourself within their feelings and how they're feeling. What are their attitudes? What are their behaviors? What are they going through day to day? Speak the language, use the words that they were used, make it visual so they can see it, they can taste it, they can touch it. Talk about the experiences that they go through, make a connection in terms of what they're going through, what you've been through. These are all things that we can do as coaches that's going to allow people to connect with you and going to make your messaging land like a hammer, boom, like a gavel, that they're going to feel it. Then that's what's gonna make them connect. So when you say, here's after all of that, here's what I recommend, here's what I think you should do. Hey, we should connect, we should do this. So whatever call to action you're giving, they're gonna be more willing to take that call to action. So these are the things that's gonna take it to the next level. Slow motion is better than no motion. Let's work.